Hey, what's up everybody? Retro Gaming Guy here. Today in this video, we're going to unbox, demo, and review this product right here. This is the Hori RWA racing wheel controller with foot pedals. You can see the racing wheel right here, foot pedals directly next to it. So this is officially licensed by Sony themselves. So this is compatible with the PS4 console, the PS5 console, and also with PCs. So you could jump into all your favorite racing games on those 3 different platforms with this and have that interactive arcade sort of experience. So we're going to unbox this. We're going to see what it offers externally in terms of buttons and different functions and features on the actual controllers themselves. But then we're going to set this up today and we're going to dive into some demos and see what the experience is like on here. So let's unbox this and see what we've got. All right, so we have all the contents kind of laid out here. We have the actual wheel itself, which we're going to take a closer look at first, but I want to see how everything actually connects here. So I do have the little quick startup guide here. So I'm just going to kind of glance over at this, and it does seem to be pretty straightforward here in terms of setup. Doesn't look like a whole lot of different connections that need to be made. It's literally just 2 steps to get everything connected. So we have the wheel right here. And off of the wheel in the back, we have a USB connection. So we can see that is kind of tied up here. I'm going to go ahead and undo the twist tie. And then it looks like we have quite a bit of cable here. So that is awesome that we can reposition this however we would need to in our different, setup configurations. So yeah, it definitely looks like we're going to have at least a 6-foot cable here. Let me see if I can actually just kind of leave it and open this up just a little bit for the sake of this video so I don't have a super long cable dangling throughout my table here. There we go. Just tighten that up. So USB connection right here, as you can see. That's going to go into either your console or your PC, depending on what you're using it with. Now here are the foot pedals, and over here we have what looks like an old school internet connection. So that is going to actually connect to the back side right here next to where the USB cable connects. So literally this simple. We're just going to go ahead and take this. This plugs in just like that. You hear it click right into place. And that's all we need to do to connect the foot pedals to the actual steering wheel. And I'll go ahead and just remove this twist tie as well, because we're going to need a little bit of distance, obviously, between our foot pedals and our steering wheel. And now you'll notice that the bottom here, there's just these 3 little tabs. So those are going to connect directly over to this little platform here. Just slap it down, and you can see that that extends this so you can rest, the heel of your foot on here, and you'd be able to press down on your different pedals here. So I'm going to go ahead and move that out of the way. Now we have one more piece here. This is going to be our clamp, so we can mount this to like a desk like I'm on right now, just so we have a safe and secure way to actually steer on here. If we were to just use this without the clamp, you can see right now it kind of rocks back and forth. It's definitely not safe and secure. So how this works is we just turn this over like this, and you're going to see a little indent right here. This lines up just like that. And there's also some tabs in here, a little bit hard to see, but you can see we have 2 holes right here that line up with these tabs. So this is just going to sit on here like so. And then we have this little screw here that goes through, and it actually threads directly into the base of the steering wheel. So we're going to just kind of turn that a couple turns, just like so. And now what we can do is we'd be able to mount this to a desk. So I'm going to go ahead and mount it to this desk right here, just so you can see how the setup process works. All right, guys, so here is the edge of my desk where I want to go ahead and mount this steering wheel. So all we have to do is simply open up the little clamp here like this, slide it into the edge of the table, find a good position. So this, as long as it was secure, feels good right here. I'm going to go ahead and just simply turn this piece right here, this little screw, and it's going to automatically tighten up. I just got to turn it the right way, of course. Now just line these little feet under here. A little bit hard to see in this video, I know, but line the little feet up so it's clamping onto the bottom of the desk surface, but just give it a few turns. until you can't turn it anymore. You don't have to go absolutely insane with it, but right there it's getting tighter. And then all we have to do with this is just simply flip it over, and you can see nice and safe and secure here. I can turn on this. It's not going to jump around. Obviously my table is actually a little bit unlevel, but right here you can see it's not moving much at all. I want a little bit of play, but I don't want it to, risk falling off the edge or anything like that. So no issues there. Feels really comfortable. Now let's actually take a look at all the different offerings on the face of the actual steering wheel. All right, guys, here we have the steering wheel. Now we can actually shift with the paddles in the back. You can see you got a paddle there, paddle back here. Really easy to access those. We don't have to use them though. It's very comfortable even if we avoid those at all costs. So we have our typical configuration for a PlayStation style controller. We have our X, our circle, triangle, square, R1 and R2, L1 and L2 over here, D-pad. So we'd still be able to set up all of our games the same way we would with a controller. Still have access to all the necessary controls there. We have an L3, R3 over here. We have PlayStation button in the center, which we could use obviously as like a start button. We also have our settings buttons on here. So we have access to all the buttons that we would on a regular gamepad controller right here on the face of our steering wheel. Now, I'm going to bring you guys in to take a look at the top here because we have some settings up here that we are going to have to utilize. So now right up here at the top, we have a couple different settings options. We have normal mode, we have steering mode over here, so we can toggle back and forth to change that depending on what we're looking for. Down here on the left side, we have the device settings. So if you're going to use this with a PS5, you're going to pull that toggle switch all the way to the left. If we want to use it with a PlayStation 4, you're going to put it right in the middle. And if you want to use this on a PC for PC gaming, you'll bring that switch all the way to the right-hand side. Over here, we have DP, LS, and RS. So again, some different settings over here as well. All right, guys, so we just went through all of the different options on here and everything that this offers us. I'm really liking the layout here. It's very comfortable. The action seems to be great on here, but we got to test this out with some games. So let's dive into some games and see what the experience is like.
Is there a bit droid in the house? At the end of lap 1, it's Anakin Skywalker in the lead. He is going for that first place purse.
Yeah, baby. Clear. Okay, now work together. Nice and smooth. Steady to the turn. Your car's faster than his. Let's get around him. Come on, keep momentum. Finding space. After inside.
All right, guys, we jumped into the Hori RWA racing wheel controller with pedals today, and we tested it out on Batocera version 38, so we could dive into a wide range of games and game collections on here. We tested out racing games for Dreamcast, N64, PlayStation, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, and even Nintendo Switch, and I have to say we had an amazing experience across the board. Now, each collection is going to feel very different with the exact same racing wheel here. Some games you're able to use the pedals, some games you're not able to use the pedals. It just depends on what games you had that capability with originally or not. But the experience is great. It's just a different feel from game to game and collection to collection. So some you're going to do a turn, pulling your wheel all the way over to make even the slightest adjustment in your navigation. Some you're going to just do the slightest little bit of movement like this. It's just a very different feel again for each of the games and game collections, but you get used to it. And it's a really cool experience because it's a unique experience for every single different game. So I love it. I think that this is a phenomenal racing wheel controller, very high quality, and it doesn't break the bank. Now, at the time of this video, I paid just $128.99 for this on Amazon, and I think it's worth every penny of that. It's a really high-end wheel, but it's also budget friendly. It's not going to cost you $1,000 like some incredibly expensive racing wheels do cost out there. Now, the only downside that I've come across with anything on here is with the pedal board, and it's not the pedals themselves because they're super responsive, very comfortable to use. They're not a challenge to, press in by any means. The downside though is that with your less dominant foot, you do need to actually weigh down the pedal board because when you go to press on the gas, it actually will slide forward just from the force of you pressing down on it if you're not also applying pressure with the other foot, to lock the entire pedal board in place. I wish it was actually weighted or there was some way to just keep it centered underneath you without, having to combat the force that you're pushing with the other foot to engage the gas pedal. That's the only downside though. It's not well balanced in that regard. So you have to constantly remind yourself to apply pressure with your other foot. Otherwise, you end up, while you're playing your game, pushing your pedal board away from you. And if you're playing back-to-back racing games, which I assume most of us probably are, it's very easy to just kind of inch it forward and forward and forward to the point where at some point it's too far away from you and you have to kind of pull it back underneath you, usually while you're midway through a game. So it can be a little bit inconvenient in that regard, but at the end of the day, it's a very minor issue with so many amazing things going well for this particular product. So I love it. I'm going to be using this for all my racing games because I'm an arcade guy. I loved growing up, around arcade games. And that's the best way, in my opinion, to experience racing games. And there's so many amazing racing games coming out today that I wish I had that interactive arcade experience with. And now I can have that, especially with PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 5 games, or even Steam. You can use this on all the latest racing games through Steam as well. And it's going to give you a phenomenal experience. So I'll put a link up here at the top of your screen. I'll also put one in the description of this video if you want some additional information on this amazing product. Click those links. That's going to do it for today, though. If you enjoyed the content, please give me a thumbs up on the video. And of course, hit subscribe to stay in the loop for all future videos. Thanks for watching. Thanks for the support. I'll see you in the next video.